Good morning. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News Brief. First of all, today we have some strange news from the Gateway Pundit. Breaking blue light over New York. Explosion at Con Ed power plant in Queens. And we're going to have a couple of videos for you on this one. Look at that. That is incredible. Very, very bright. There was an explosion tonight at the Con Ed power plant in Queens, New York. The initial reports were that a transformer blew at the power plant. The skies over New York City flashed blue tonight. And there it is. Another picture. There is the sky all lit up. So that's a little further away, it looks like. New York police are investigating. Now, what could have caused this explosion at the power plant? LaGuardia Airport was shut down as a result. Explosion of Con Ed power plant caused the closure of LaGuardia Airport in New York. Here is video. All right, this is one of three we're going to have. Wow, that is right there. All right, so that was pretty striking. Let's take a look at another video. This is a little further away. You can see it's lighting up the sky a lot. That's incredible, the way that looks up there. When the explosion is way down on the ground. Brilliant colors. All right, now one last video. I don't know what to think about this one, guys. My buddy Mike, Space Shot 76, sent this over to me. Look at that. In the center of the sky, do you see that black triangle? I can't tell. That might be something on this guy's window, but I don't know. It's pretty compelling. Very, very interesting. All right, well, let's see if they say anything else here on Gateway Pundit. Oh, there's another video, yes. Another video from close to the ground. There is fire. Apparently a transformer explosion at Con Ed in Queens producing the blue sky. No aliens, but also not confirmed. All right, here's another video.
It was this church.
Why the fuck?
All right, profanity, so we're going to skip over that one. Here's another. Very bright. And another picture. Update. Local police say the fire is under control. There is no further reporting at this time. Well, well, well. Hopefully everyone is safe and people get their power restored quickly. Now, remember what happened yesterday, guys? The mainstream media, or the day before yesterday, mainstream media attacked President Trump for not visiting the troops, and then it turned out he was actually secretly visiting the troops. Just didn't want everyone to get the jump on it. So what did they do? Oh, they released a Michael Cohen story. Turns out Michael Cohen actually was in Prague, except Michael Cohen himself disputes it. Former Trump attorney Michael Cohen on Thursday disputed a would-be bombshell report claiming that he visited Prague during the 2016 presidential campaign. I hear Prague, Czech Republic, is beautiful in the summertime. I wouldn't know, as I have never been. Mueller knows everything, Cohen wrote on Twitter. And I'm sure Mueller does, because Cohen had to sing like a bird to get himself 3 years in prison. Cohen was responding to a Thursday report from McClatchy claiming that special counsel Robert Mueller has been provided with electronic evidence showing that Cohen's cell phone communicated with the tower in Prague during late summer 2016. The report, if accurate, would seem to corroborate a major allegation made in the Steele dossier, which was funded by former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Democratic National Committee. The dossier, which was authored by former British spy Christopher Steele, alleged that Cohen visited Prague in late August or early September 2016 to meet with Kremlin insiders to pay off Russian hackers. Cohen vehemently denied the dossier's allegations up until he began cooperating over the summer with federal prosecutors in New York and with the special counsel's office. He also disputed an April 13th report from the same McClatchy reporters who claimed that Mueller had been provided evidence that Cohen visited Prague. Cohen, who entered plea deals with the prosecutors from both offices, was sentenced to 3 years in prison on December 12th. Lanny Davis, an advisor to Cohen, has claimed in recent months that Cohen has information implicating President Donald Trump in illegal activity. As part of a plea deal struck with prosecutors in New York, Cohen said that Trump instructed him to make hush payment in October 2016 to Stormy Daniels, the porn star who claims she had an affair with Trump in 2006. Cohen pleaded guilty to making an illegal campaign contribution. Cohen also pleaded guilty in the Mueller probe on November 29th to lying to Congress in 2017 about his efforts to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. Notably, Cohen did not admit to lying to Congress when he denied claims made in the dossier. That has been widely interpreted as circumstantial evidence that Mueller does not have evidence placing Cohen in Prague. Cohen's tweet is the first time since June 28th that he has weighed in publicly on the dossier's allegations against him. Davis has instead been the public face of those denials. Davis, a longtime associate of the Clintons, who was also Cohen's lawyer during his legal battles, insisted on December 16th, as well as to McClatchy this week, that Cohen did not visit Prague. Those denials have been taken seriously, given that Cohen seemingly has no incentive to lie about any contacts with Russians now that he is cooperating with prosecutors. Yes, I think it's highly unlikely that Michael Cohen was in Prague, because if he had been in Prague, he would have admitted it to Mueller in an effort to give himself even less time in prison. Instead, he denied it, and he was given 3 years. 3 years for a bunch of nothing burgers. And in an exclusive from the Daily Wire, report says WAPO columnist killed in Saudi consulate may have been a foreign agent. A new report asserts that Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi, who was killed inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 2nd, may have been a foreign agent working for the government of Qatar in order to change U.S. policy against Saudi Arabia and in favor of the Muslim Brotherhood. Writing in The Federalist, Jim Hansen, president of Security Studies Group and a former member of U.S. Special Forces, notes that the Post admitted in an article on December 21st that an executive at Qatar Foundation International worked with Khashoggi to influence Khashoggi's columns so they aggressively targeted the Saudi government. The Post wrote, text messages between Khashoggi and an executive at Qatar Foundation International show that the executive, Maggie Mitchell-Salem, at times shaped the columns he submitted to the Washington Post, proposing topics, drafting material, and prodding him to take a harder line against the Saudi government. Hansen notes the Qatar Foundation denies they were paying him to produce the anti-Saudi material. No, we just strongly suggested what he write. But then Hansen ups the ante considerably as to Khashoggi's possible status as a foreign agent, writing, But during Security Studies Group research for our report on the information operation after his death, we heard from reliable sources familiar with the investigation that documents showing wire transfers from Qatar were found in his apartment in Turkey. They were immediately put out of reach by Turkish security services, so they did not show the collusion between Khashoggi, Qatar, and Turkey prior to his death. We have published a new, unredacted set of findings about the case. It is damning to Qatar, Turkey, and the Washington Post. Khashoggi may have been operating in violation of the Foreign Agent Registration Act by doing this on behalf of Qatar. Where have we heard that recently? Hansen points out Qatar supports the Muslim Brotherhood, which is regarded as a terrorist organization by many Gulf nations. Members of Congress have pushed for naming the group a terrorist organization. Hansen adds that Turkey and Qatar drove the narrative after the killing of Khashoggi and fed their chosen information to major Western English language journalist outlets. Hansen points out that Qatar is currently flirting more seriously with Russia, Iran, and Turkey, which is inimical to American interests. That Qatar has hacked into the personal information of Americans. That Qatar is friendly with extremist groups, including the Taliban in Afghanistan. In January 2017, the Foundation for Defense of Democracies delineated Qatar's support for terrorist groups. The State Department revealed in its 2015 Country Reports on Terrorism that entities and individuals within Qatar continue to serve as a source of financial support for terrorist and violent extremist groups, particularly regional al-Qaeda affiliates such as the Nusra Front. Qatar has historically also been described by the U.S. as a site for the private financing of other terrorist groups besides Nusra. Al-Qaeda's senior leadership is alleged by Washington to have received support from Qatar-based donors, as is Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda in the Indian subcontinent, Al-Qaeda operatives in Iran, and Al-Qaeda in Iraq, the forerunner to IS. According to Treasury, the Islamic State's emir of suicide bombers made arrangements to receive approximately $2 million from a Qatar-based ISIL facilitator who enlisted his assistance with fundraising efforts in Qatar. There is no sign Qatar ever acted against this unnamed financier. Qatar hosts Hamas moneyman under U.S. counterterrorism sanctions and has even directly financed the group. The U.S. has also reported the Taliban and Lashkar-e-Taiba have fundraised in Qatar. All right, and that is it for our Jamal Khashoggi report. But I've got, let's see, just a couple more things for you here. So yesterday, President Trump mysteriously missed an R in the word president. And right before or right after, we retweeted this post from Renegade Barack Obama. I strongly believe that we should take on once and for all the issue of illegal immigration. State of the Union from 2011. And, yep, typo confirmed. The American people understand that we have been played by foreign actors who would rather have us fight their battles for them. The president says, look, this is your neighborhood. You've got to stand up to protect yourselves. Don't always look to America. President Trump quoting Brad Blakeman. I think it's very interesting that the tweets coincide, the retweet of Barack Obama, whose Secret Service name was Renegade, and the missing R in president. So I believe that the R, Renegade, is pointing to President Barack Obama. And here's that post 311 from 9th of December 2017. What was the U.S. Secret Service code name for Hussein? R. Renegade. Define. They knew all along. Expand your thinking. Confirmation. Double RR. So there was a second tweet. I actually don't have that one, guys. I do apologize. But because it's a double RR, it could also have something to do with Rod Rosenstein. All right. Now, here is a quick thread from Lady Canuck on Twitter. POTUS tweets today had added R's. Anons have been theorizing. We now have 2 confirmed power grid explosions, Louisiana and New York City, both showing laser-type beams. In drop 2273, FISA will bring down the house. RR. Throughout, rats are panicking. Prepare for sky is falling week. And here is that post where it mentions the removal of RR, Rod Rosenstein. Read the first sentence regarding Rod Rosenstein. Read the New York Times article regarding Rod Rosenstein, wear wire. Attempts to bait POTUS to fire to cross the red line. Red line will fail. FISA D-class will bring the House down. Yes, it will. Once that is finally released, we are going to see some major moves from the deep state, because this is the last thing they want. The entire charade will be exposed. Thank you, Donald Trump. All right, and in one final story, you guys, this is just heartbreaking. Nation's oldest living veteran, Richard Overton, dies in Austin at age 112. The nation's oldest living veteran, Richard Overton, has died in a rehab facility in Austin, Texas. He was 112 years old. Family says Overton was admitted to the hospital last week with pneumonia. He died Thursday. Overton was born near Bastrop in 1906 and served in the Army for 3 years during World War II. He spent the majority of his life in Austin and was often seen on the porch of his home, which he built in East Austin in 1945. He gave credit to God for his longevity, but he always said cigars and whiskey helped. I've been smoking cigars from when I was 18 years old. I'm still smoking them, 12 a day. Wow. Oh, tough old bird. The distinction of being the nation's oldest veteran brought quite a few visitors to his front porch. One person that graced that porch was former Governor Rick Perry on Memorial Day in 2013. I just wanted to come by and visit with you, said Perry at the time. On Veterans Day the same year, former President Barack Obama honored Overton in front of the thousands in Washington. His service on the battlefield was not always matched by the respect that he deserved at home, but this veteran held his head high, Obama said. In late 2016, the time came for 24/7 medical care. Overton's family didn't want to see him go to a nursing home, so they started a GoFundMe that reached over $450,000, and he was able to stay in his house. When Overton turned 111, the Austin City Council gave the street he lived on for more than 70 years an honorary name, Richard Overton Avenue. As for being the nation's oldest veteran, Richard Overton was grateful. I ain't getting rich, but I feel glad, he said. Thank you for your service, Richard. All right, guys, and just one more thing. This was just something about me. I was pretty excited. I hope you all know thephaser.com, Sean from SGT Report. This is his blog where he adds stuff from people all over the internet, YouTube and otherwise. But yesterday, Sean had retweeted my It's Happening video, and was talking with Space Shot 76 last night. And it turns out that Sean actually put me on the website. And I'm just so excited. If you guys have not been to thephaser.com, go, okay? There is such a preponderance of amazing stories here. Things that, if you haven't seen it suggested to you on YouTube, you're guaranteed to find something that you're going to enjoy on this website. So thanks again, Sean, for helping me out, putting me out there, and sharing my stuff. Thank you to everyone who shares my stuff. I am so grateful for everything that I've gotten and received in the last couple of weeks. This has just been an amazing experience. It is my pleasure to serve at your behest every day. I'm only here because you guys like what I'm putting out. So keep coming with the messages, keep coming with the comments. Thank you so much for interacting with me and for sending me cool things, everybody who's doing it. Thank you again for tuning in. I am Red Pill 78, the corruption detector, and this was your Red Pill News Brief. Good luck and God bless.